DORK Podcast with Rich Keefe. It's the DORK Podcast. Ryan Davey. It's the DORK Podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag DORK Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Rolf Von Dolph. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan Davey. Davey, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Back from parts unknown.
Hell yeah. How was it?
It was great. It was great. So I have a funny story about my time. I was in my element,
yes,
which, as you know, is fun spot, right?
Yes, of course.
And my wife and I are talking, and all of a sudden, like, someone turns around and was like, "Are you Ryan Davey?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my God." Like, I thought it was you, and I wasn't gonna say anything, but then I heard your voice. And so I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, we were listening to you on the way up here." Like, his name was Rich.
I like that.
His name is Rich.
Small world.
So it gets better because my younger daughter, who's going to be 8 soon, like, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm talking to this guy and then another family of 3 were like, "You're Ryan Davey." And I was like, "Yeah." Like, I'm like,
nice.
I thought they were together. They were not. It was 2.
With me.
No, I thought, but it was like a family of like 3 people. And they're like, "Yeah, we were just listening to you on the way up here." And like, they had their son with them, who was older, but a teenager.
Yep.
And I felt like saying, like, "I'm really sorry for my language sometimes."
I know.
So my daughter, who's 8, like, rolls her eyes and like walks away with me. And we had friends up there. Her friend and her mom were with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really talk about this, like, where I work. I don't tell anybody. It's not embarrassing. It's just like, it's that part of me that, like, I just,
I understand.
Whatever.
Yeah, I get it.
So my friend, who is my daughter Tessa's best friend, mom, I'm good friends with her and her husband too. So she's like, "What the hell just happened?" And I said, "What do you mean?" Because it was like super crowded. She's like, "Tess came over all annoyed." And I was like, "What are you annoyed about?" She's like, "Oh, my dad's talking to one of his fans." And she's like, "Who are you?"
One of his fans. Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, he's talking to one of his fans."
Fan club.
Like, it happens all the time. Like, she makes it sound like it happens. This happens to me once a year, maybe.
Like, we can't get a cup of coffee without people attacking my dad.
Yeah. No. So they recognize me from they would only see my feet at that point.
Mostly foot stuff.
And my feet were covered, so that's no way that could have happened.
Nope. Yeah, they hear like a double take.
Thank you for it. And by the way, if you see me, say hello. It's me.
Yeah.
And I always start the same thing. Yes, I thought I would be taller too.
Yeah.
I'm not that tall.
But it is funny though, the voice thing, because for years, like, before we were on YouTube or before like the radio show was ever on Twitch or anything, it would be people would like be looking over it and you're like talking, and then they're like, as soon as I heard your voice, like, cause I don't like, a lot of times people are like, "I don't even know what the fuck you look like." Like, I just heard you for a while, but I don't no idea what you look like. But that's pretty.
But I like to get in front of it and tell them that I wish I was taller too.
This is it, dudes. This is what I look like. This is how tall I am.
What actually shrunk 1.5 inches in 20 years, so not great.
Yeah. I've heard though, I don't know this yet because I'm only 40, but I heard as you get older, you shrink like height wise, but it adds onto your dick.
Width, not length.
Well, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, and sack length too.
Oh, I've heard. Yeah. Larry Longballs. It's a problem. It's a problem. Or a solution.
Anyway. Or a solution to whatever problem, whatever's ailing you.
Doesn't matter. Right. We have a major announcement. I didn't tease it actually, I did tease it, but not as a major announcement. But this is going to be one of the biggest endeavors. The Hashtag Dork podcast has been running strong for almost 8 years, maybe 9 years.
Several years.
So many years. But here we are. We have done so many different topics. We have done here's a good example. Our podcast has been going on so long that we have done top 50 horror movies twice. We had to update it once. We've done top 50 TV shows. That was a big undertaking. And we did top 50 comic book movies. We've done a number of top 25s, including Christmas movies. We've done like top 10 Star Wars characters. I was looking back in some of the archives, a lot of top 10s. So we're like, you know what we haven't done? And maybe because it's just so overwhelming, but we're going to compile the official Hashtag Dork top 50 movies list.
thinking about it is just giving me a panic attack right now.
It's insane. Like,
because what am I, of all these lists we've done, what am I the most famous for?
Forgetting shit.
Or just omitting like the best movie ever. Like I know I'm gonna forget.
Yep.
Like someone's gonna be like, "Oh, nice, you didn't even have The Godfather on your list." I'm like,
oh, yeah, god damn it. No, it's insane because it's every, like, I had a hard enough time with my horror movie list or my comic book movie list. So now it's like take the best of those, add. So what I also started doing in my head was I started writing a list without ranking, just like movies that I feel like would have to be on there.
sure.
And then I was like, well, I don't want to forget. I'm like, all right, who are some of the best directors? Who are some of my favorite actors, actresses? Do I at least have some of their movies involved? And then I'm trying to like shape it that way. But this has the chance to be, I mean, my 50 and your 50 might have like 5 overlap.
Well,
like
and
there's
this
just
is
so
like
many goddamn movies.
where I have admitted my flaw, and I would say one of yours is like, is it the best movies of all time, or is it my favorite movies of all time? And you would say
Favorite. They're both.
what's the difference?
Yeah, I would say the same goddamn.
And
Yeah.
I would say, like, because in my head, like, there is a difference between like The Godfather
Mhm.
and Big Trouble in Little China. If I was doing my favorite movies of all time, Big Trouble in Little China would be on the list. I'm not sure. I mean, that's not my favorite movie of all time, but I'm just using it as an example.
Also, keep in mind that this is going to be labeled the hashtag dork top 50
right.
movies of all time. So I'm just guessing, and I'll tell you who the panel is in a moment, but
Yep.
I'm guessing Citizen Kane won't be in our top 50. I'm guessing
It's gonna be in mine, but
it's gonna be in some, like, and that's
Yeah.
why. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open it up enough. So Mac and Goo are always a part of our countdown list. Mac and Goo are gonna be 2 of the other panelists, and then our high school buddies, Shark, Bessie, and Woody, who have all been a part of. They were a part of the TV show one, and for longtime listeners of Dork, those guys have all been on various episodes in the past as well. Because I was like, I want it to be more than just you and me, because then that's weird. Because it's like, all right, your number 13 comes in at this, and my number 13 comes in at, like, there's less kind of surprise. So this way,
and
we
I would say
7. I think we get 7 people. That's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm thinking right now. So 7 lists of 50. It might even turn into a top 100. I'm shooting for 50. Everyone's going to give us 50, and then I'll see how many we have and like what the numbers are, and I'll do all the math on that. But I'm looking.
I was a little nervous when you included Bessie in this, and then I was thinking that, like,
Yeah,
I trust him much more as a movie buff than if this was like the top 50 songs. I would be like, don't ask him
and we
at
can't
all.
do songs with him. We did TV with him, and we did okay.
We did okay. It's music really that, and to give you some perspective, and I still talk about him. He's the only person I know to ever do this. He bought Eiffel 65's entire album, not just the blue single, the CD single. No, he bought the whole album and would listen to it, like would actually listen to it.
I would say kind of ahead of the game. He would bring into the weight room in high school just like rave music, like techno rave music, and just leave it on. People are like looking around like, the fuck is this? It's just him getting a sweat in.
just getting the schwitz.
Yeah, getting a pump, crushing those songs. Yeah, no. Well, he even admitted, he's like, it's gonna be all like gangster movies. I'm like, that's probably fine. Like, if you want to have Goodfellas and Casino,
he said that it's gonna be 50 gangster movies. Fine.
Like, fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool, dude. No, but I think this is gonna be a good group, and so top 50 movies. We gotta have it. We gotta go on the record, and then we encourage engagement. So when you hear it, you're probably gonna be pissed, or maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised. You'll be like, God damn, these guys really pulled it together. Those are a lot of my 50.
This is no way to do this correctly.
No,
just so you know.
No.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a nice time. All right, let's go to this.
The Dork.
No, that's the beginning of the goddamn thing.
This week in Dork. Yeah.
Well, this is an extended This Week in Hashtag Dork episode. It actually could have just been called D23, because D23, I think it's either still going on or wrapping up today, whatever it is. But Disney announced a ton of stuff with Marvel and with Star Wars and other important things. So let's just start there. Let's start with some of the Star Wars announcements. The highly anticipated season 2 of Andor. We got some details on that. It's going to take place over 4 years. every 3 episodes, they're going to do a 1-year time jump. And we also get, because they're leading this right into Rogue One, we're going to get Krennic, we're going to get Saw Gerrera, and most importantly, we're going to get K2SO.
And it's going to be cool to see because he's like a security droid that got hacked. So it'd be interesting to see how they meet and how they actually procure said droid.
It's going to be great. And I trust them completely. As much as we've had problems with some of the other Star Wars shows, Andor was great.
Andor was fantastic. Yeah.
And they knew ahead of time. They're like, we're doing 2 seasons. And I remember when the first one came out and we're like, well, is K2SO in it? And they're like, no. And that was disappointing.
Yeah.
But here he is. Here he is. And
so I'm excited. And voiced by Alan Tudyk again, right?
Yeah. Not one dick.
Yeah. Not one.
Nope. Bringing it with the 2.
Absolutely.
And so this will come out 2025. So there's a few shows like Severance and The Last of Us and Andor, which we will not. Our next episode, we're doing a fall, which sort of blends into winter TV preview. There's already a good crew kind of waiting for early 2025, and that's in there. They still didn't say a release date, but I guess do you think they wait till May for May the 4th, or do they shoot for like March?
They'll probably do like May.
That's a ways away, it feels like, but they
maybe sometimes they start them then, sometimes they end them then.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing March. Is this because it's in between. There's nothing. There's always like when there's nothing else on is when the good streaming shows come on.
Put them out. Yep.
Yeah.
We're getting the next Star Wars show we are going to get is Skeleton Crew. And there was a trailer that came out. We posted it to @DORK Podcast if you somehow missed it. This show is coming out December 3rd. This is the Jude Law Star Wars show that also, we'll see. It's hard to tell in the trailer, but it does involve a lot of kids. They've had a hard time casting kids between Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Acolyte.
Yeah, I forget how annoying the kid Leia was. And she did the best she could, but I forget how.
And they all do. They're all doing the best they can. Their parents are forcing them into the business, and
they don't want to be there. Their parents are making them do it. Come on.
They'd much rather be playing in a sandbox or going down a slide, but here they are learning lines, supporting their families. But the premise of this is the series follows 4 children who end up on an adventure to make their way home after being lost in the galaxy following a discovery they made on their home planet. And we know, so it's sink or swim with these kids. Maybe Stranger Things. Stranger
Things is the gold standard.
We're going kid heavy cast, kicked ass. Each kid was great. This one we'll see. Jude Law though is a Force user, and so I don't know if we want to call him a we don't know, Jedi.
Not yet.
Sith, maybe something in between. But I think Favreau and Filoni are involved in this. So I mean, they're probably involved in most things, but like their names popped up on the trailer, so I'm like, all right, it's got to be good news, right?
Yeah, it's got to be good news. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. We got The Mandalorian and Grogu, just like a little teaser. They didn't release it publicly, but I guess at D23 they showed a little bit of footage. This is not going to come out until May 22nd, 2026.
So there's no more Mandalorian series. It's just this movie, right?
I believe.
Or is there one more season and then the movie?
I think there might be another season, but don't hold me to that. But yeah, this is gonna be, I think, is this the next? Because there's been scuttlebutt about the movies. Is this the next movie?
It has to be.
There's been a lot of projects that have like sort of been up and then down. Yeah, there's been a lot of fizzling in the Star Wars world.
Right.
So yeah, I'm in on that. So those are all, I think, relatively excited. Pumped for Andor, pumped for Mandalorian, Grogu, and then we shall see when it comes to Skeleton Crew.
Oh yeah, well, we'll talk about it in the video game minute. There's more things coming from Star Wars, but we'll talk about those momentarily.
Marvel news, including Daredevil Born Again, is going to come out in March. So that's another show. 2025 already has a whole bunch in the holster ready to go. And the story of this is so good, like going all the way back to when they announced that Charlie Cox's Daredevil was going to be on Disney Plus, because they put him in Spider-Man. Everybody was like, "Oh shit!" And then he's like, he's the guy's been obsessed with this character. They cast him. Not really a lot of other news about it. And it was like, all right, they're going to kind of do their own thing, which people are like, I don't know about this. And then they're like, all right, like we're bringing back the stunt coordinator. You're like, okay. And then like,
And then you saw him in She-Hulk, and you're like,
no. And then you saw him in Echo, though, and that was one of the better parts of Echo. But then, like, and I forget the order of this, but they're like, all right, we're bringing back Foggy and Karen. And you're like, no shit.
Okay,
Like, we're bringing back Kingpin and Punisher. You're like, fuck yeah. So, like,
okay.
that was basically a Netflix show again.
That's it. Yeah. And once I knew something was going in the right direction when Disney's starting to finally absorb Hulu, and like R-rated things are starting to come onto Disney Plus. I mean, like you're getting comfortable with it. We're doing okay. You can do this.
Good point, because when the news first came out, you're like, they can't do it. Like, they're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool and Wolverine, which by the way has made $1 billion now.
Sure has.
So apparently those jokes in Deadpool and Wolverine about cocaine were not like, that was legitimate. Like, apparently Kevin Feige was like, hey guys, we want like a Deadpool movie, like do a Deadpool movie, but like no
say
cocaine.
the F word all you want, but do not.
I guess Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy were like, got it, no cocaine, no problem. And then they just put like a ton of jokes about it in there. But
they can't do cocaine.
Yeah, can't do it.
Yeah.
His roommate just ripping through all the names for him. He's like, no, they know that. They know that one. You can't say that. They know that.
My favorite is Booger Sugar.
Booger Sugar's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that. Agatha All Along comes out next month.
Hey.
Oh, it's too bad. I like Catherine Hahn.
All right.
It
could be okay. Aubrey Plaza's good too. It could be all right.
Yeah. Ironheart. That series is happening 2025.
Sure.
Riri Williams in Ironheart.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's like 3 years too late, but all right.
Yeah, I don't know about these, dude. Like,
yeah.
We're committed. If it's Star Wars or Marvel or fuck even DC, I'm gonna see all of it. But we might be. I'm sure for a lot of people that listen, they're getting to the point where like they're not watching everything. Like they're like, I'll see. I'll wait for the hashtag Dork fellows to review it or something like that. Like they or somebody else.
Leave it to the professionals.
That's right. We'll watch it so you don't have to. This is something I'm definitely going to watch. I think on Discovery or National Geographic or whatever channel they own over through there, there's going to be a new David Blaine show.
See, I knew something was up with him because he started showing up in like my TikTok feed.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like I don't go on TikTok. I don't post anything, but I lurk and like I follow who I need to follow.
Yeah.
And he was doing tricks with, like, it was one of the Paul brothers. And it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like,
he also
somehow
go ahead.
He did like the pick a card, any card thing, sign your name, put your name on it.
Love it.
And then couldn't find it. And they're like, oh, I don't know. Like, and he had him like take a picture with it.
Okay.
And then like it was like his phone's, like just the card before he signed it. And then it was like the card signed, but it was like his phone's wallpaper.
Oh my God.
Like, how do you do that?
Guy's amazing. I'll tell you.
I think you've seen the Harrison Ford one, right? Where like that's the best.
Get the fuck
reaction.
out of the house. That was good. And when he was doing magic for the Dallas Cowboys back in like the 90s.
Oh, and they were like ran away,
running around. They were like scared of him, and they were like taking off out of the locker room. It was amazing. So this is called David Blaine Do Not Attempt, also coming out in 2025. Well, he also did, it was like a preview for the new Eminem album. And it was like the two of them did like a thing. It was kind of like a little cringy, but it was like the two of them FaceTiming and talk, because like his song's called Houdini, or one of the first singles. So anyway, some of the animated news and notes. We're getting an Incredibles 3, a Toy Story 5, and they gave us another trailer for Moana 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Toy Story 5. Do we need this type of like emotional battery? Do we need to like go through this again?
I don't think so. It's probably left best undone. We don't need
I mean, I'm happy to see it, but like it's just it's a tearjerker.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. Incredibles, I remember loving and even owning the first movie. The second one I must have seen, but I don't remember it. Like
that's the one with what
the hell was that?
Elastigirl becomes like they try to bring heroes back, and they're living in like that big house.
Okay,
I'm trying to remember.
At all. I must have seen
it. Was like the brother and sister. One of them was voiced by Catherine Keener, and they were like trying to bring heroes back. They were like lawyers.
Oh, yeah,
you've seen it.
I must have seen it. So that came out in 2018. Okay. Telecommunications guru Winston Deaver enlists Elastigirl to fight crime and make the public fall in love with superheroes once again. That leaves Mr. Incredible with one of his greatest challenges ever, staying home. Oh yeah, stay home. Yeah. Okay.
And there was a fight with Jack and the raccoon.
Yep. Yeah, I remember it not being as good.
But I mean, it's like
it's still Incredibles.
Still great.
Yeah, I'll see Incredibles 3. Moana 2, I know little CC Keefe's got that one circled.
Oh yeah, this one, the house is going nuts here for that one. Yeah,
we're all over that. Yeah. That's I think right after Thanksgiving that one comes out. Avatar 3 is going to be known as Avatar Season of the Witch. No, it's going to be called Avatar Fire and Ash.
When's that coming out? Like 2030?
I don't.
They didn't say, did they? Yeah, because like this is such like a JO project for what's his name, for James Cameron. Like
Jimmy Cameron.
He just cranking it to his own dailies. Like he's
this is one of the things in the world, and there are many that just perplex me because
I don't get it.
It's the two of the 4 highest grossing movies of all time. I don't know anybody who outwardly likes them. Nobody remembers or knows anything about them. I've seen the first one. I've never even seen the second one. We do a Dork podcast. Nobody ever even emailed, texted, or tweeted us and was like, "How come you guys didn't do Avatar?" Not a crickets when it comes to Avatar.
Nothing.
And yet apparently everybody in the world has seen the movie 3 times in the theater,
which I don't think is true.
It can't be.
I don't think that's true. The ride at Disney is super fun. If you even do that,
I went to Disneyland. I don't think we had one out there.
No, you didn't have the Animal Kingdom. It's nice. It's a nice little ride.
Yeah. All right. Ryan, as for movies that are in the theater now, it is not looking good for Borderlands.
I think I got this in the draft for like a dog or two.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. But like, you know why I love that this is. It makes so much sense now where Jamie Lee Curtis is like, oh, the Marvel Cinematic Universe isn't doing so well. And then she apologized immediately.
Yep.
Someone's probably like, your movie sucks. Your movie's a video game movie and it sucks.
It sucks. And at the wrong time. If you said 10 years ago they made a Borderlands movie and it was bad, you'd be like, well, it's impossible to adapt video games.
Yeah.
Now it's very possible. There are a lot of good things coming from video games to movies. This was weird, though, because I feel like I remember when it was announced. I remember seeing the trailer and us talking about it briefly. But for a summer movie, I don't think they did a very good job marketing this movie at all.
I remember. So I think if I remember correctly, it went through like several reshoots. And this game, if you played you've played some of the Borderland games, right?
I want to say I played 3, and I definitely played when the Telltale came out and did their fucking version like that.
Yeah. But it's very gory and it's very like hyper graphic, and you have Eli Roth directing this, and then you give it a PG-13 rating.
Yeah, has Eli Roth ever done PG-13?
He should never do it again.
Yeah, and I don't think he was the original director either. And then you have this crazy cast, right? Where you're like, yeah, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kate Blanchett,
Jack Black. And you fuck it up.
Sausage, your butt cheeks is warm.
Oh, started on those two. Yeah, great song.
Fucking the Trump assassination attempt broke up Tenacious D.
Who would have thought? Apparently, according to Jack Black, they'll be back. They're just taking a little break, which was the right thing to do.
As people said, like Jack Black has so much money tied up in all these like big gigs that he's doing in all these movies. He's got to play it like, hey, I don't know, that's insane. And then like get in a couple more movies and then be like, he's friends with his buddy. No, but anyway, Borderlands opened up at 0% Roddy T's. And now last I checked, it was like 7 to 10. It's like
I saw last time I checked early midweek and it was like 4.
I think it was I think the budget was 115 million and it made a little over 8 in the first weekend. Like just got pumped. And crazy. And like it's almost so bad that now I'm like a little bit more intrigued to see it than I would have been normally.
I think it's one of those like it's so bad like we kind of have to see it movies.
Feels like it's going to be streaming in no time. If it's this shitty, they're going to take it out of the theater.
Lickety split. This is going to be streaming. There was another movie like that came out that like I heard was bad and like we kind of The Crow.
Oh, yeah, that is that this week? It's coming out in August.
It's this week or next. I think it's the next week.
Yeah, no,
And that's supposed to be like I've read several early reviews that say borderline unwatchable.
Now, you read the comic back in the day.
Sure
right?
did.
And so the Brandon Lee movie, which honestly could crack my top 50. I love that movie. But that's not really like the comic, right?
No. The comic is much more what's the word I'm looking for? It's much more like
hyper violent.
It's very hyper violent, but it's black and white, but it's also like very the only way I can I'm trying to find the word for it, but it's kind of pretentious, like it's up its own ass a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And it was a piece written by James O'Barr, and he was like going through a breakup, and it was like very traumatic for him, and like that you can tell like there's these overly like romanticized or like portions of it.
Whereas you're going to have problems, just like everything else, but stay positive and stay strong.
Okay. Like there's some like these vignettes of like him and the girlfriend, and it's like very flowery and very like whatever. Mm-hmm. And like the Brandon Lee movie did a little bit of that.
Yep.
But not nearly as much. Like in the psyche of Eric Draven. And
got it.
You know. In this one, I love
I don't know.
The Skarsgård kid. I think he's a great like physical actor, but like I don't know if you give him lines. He's like a Dolph Lundgren. Like I don't know if you give him lines. But
we're gonna see.
Yeah, but I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm excited to see it.
It is weird just because everything that happened in that movie, like whether or not they remake literally everything, but I don't know. Like that is such an all-time movie.
Like the makeup kind of looks shitty too.
It's different. It's definitely different.
Oh, and you know what? I tweeted about this. See, what really drives me nuts is the whole thing with Brandon Lee happened.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that to finish the movie, they had one of his stunt people like finish it for him, and then like they digitally put his face on. Do you know who that was?
I saw because of your thing on Instagram.
Yeah, it was Chad Stahelski.
Yeah,
who went on to direct John Wick. Now, wouldn't it have been a great homage to that to have Chad Stahelski direct the new Crow movie and be like, "You do what you want"?
It would have been. I wonder if he was asked and was like, "I can't." Because that might be intense.
He might have said that, but also like, all right, like
ask him.
A guy who has an emotional attachment to that movie.
Yeah.
Like, and can direct the shit out of an action.
Oh, yeah. That'd be fun. That'd be super fun.
Yeah.
Good question from Josh in the chat. I think going back to Borderlands or maybe even The Crow, either one. Can it unseat Madam Web as the worst movie? I think before we do the Dorkies, which is 5 short months away, we owe it to Madam Web to see Borderlands and The Crow. So we can
and that might be the most exciting category we get going.
Mm-hmm.
Is like the Dork Razzie, like the worst movie of the year.
There's some ones. Yeah.
Which do we have a name for that award?
The worst movie. I think I called it the Fear.com award because for a while that's the worst movie I've ever seen. Fear.com. It was
the horrible. Cool World Award.
Cool, yeah, like seriously, might as well be. Cuckoo's doing pretty well. Critic scores, audience scores. I think it's like high 70s, low 80s on the critics for the horror movie starring Hunter Schafer. So I definitely want to see Cuckoo. As
I saw Abigail.
I liked it. What'd you think?
I liked it. I was one of those. It's one of those movies that you're trying to like. Wait a minute. Is this supposed to be funny?
A little bit.
No, but it is like there's the things that happen like in the last. This isn't a spoiler, but the last line of the movie is my favorite.
Okay, I forget what it was. I'll think about it.
A character goes, "What the fuck?" Like that's the last line of the movie.
What an interesting cast
Genius.
too. This is a cool cast. Like Abigail's fun, man. I like Abigail more than a lot of movies I've seen so far this year. Also, the M. Night Shyamalan movie Trap is kind of mixed. I would call it mixed reviews thus far.
You know what he has to do, and I know things are recently this would not go well, but like he should have had like at the opening night screening at every single place, he should have had like a plant. It's like whatever the trap is. Yes. Like he should have like done something fucked up, like in like a super meta, like do it in the theater. But like I understand that you can't do that these days.
Like Scream style.
Yeah.
Watchmen Chapter 1 comes out this Tuesday. That's the animated I still don't know where it's coming out. Is it like just on like you gotta buy it digitally? Like it didn't
say.
It wasn't attached to any streaming service, and it's definitely not in the theater. So I'm like, how do I watch this? Because I'll watch it.
Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere. Released by Warner Brothers.
Right. Excuse me.
Yeah, but it doesn't say.
I know one movie in the theater this weekend, Alien Romulus. And this looks pretty good.
Yeah, so this takes place between Alien and Aliens, right? That's what I'm told.
Ooh.
Like because remember there's like a gap where like
yeah, I think
Ripley goes to sleep.
Uh-huh.
And it takes place in between Alien and Aliens.
Ooh, you're 100% right. And do you know what they call this?
What?
An interquel.
Interquel.
So not a sequel, not a prequel, an interquel.
Right. Which is like Solo or Rogue One. Those are interquels.
Yep. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So that's what we're dealing with. But more importantly, it is directed by the dude who did Don't Breathe.
Yeah. And Evil Dead.
And the 2013 Evil Dead. 100%.
Yeah. I'm into that.
Yeah, I like this guy.
Chops.
This guy it's going to be a little spooky, which I'm all in for. I prefer Alien over Aliens. Another 2 movies to consider for the top 50 of all time.
Absolutely.
Very good. Oh, one last announcement before we get to the video game minute. Oktoberfest at Idle Hands is coming up September 14th. Always in September. I know it's confusing, but Oktoberfest, September 14th. And I'm going to be there once again. I missed last year. I forget what I was doing, but I'll be back hosting the Stein hoisting. So
nice.
Come on down to Idle Hands. It's an absolute blast. They got the Oompa band there. They got food. They got all delicious beers. So Saturday, September 14th. If you're not doing anything, come on down to
family. Is it family friendly?
You're damn right it is.
All right. That might be like our opening weekend bullshit we have to do here.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But I get you. But all right, let's get to this.
It's time for Davey's video game minute. Even if it takes more than a minute.
All right, Dave, what do you have?
Well, what I got for you, because we've been talking about D23, we're talking Marvel, we're talking Disney, we're talking Star Wars. So let's continue on with that. So the Disney villains, I'm told, there are 3 Disney villains who are coming to Fortnite, if that excites you.
Ooh, I think they're making a whole villains ride too,
They
right?
are.
Or like a whole area at Disney.
There's a whole villains area, which is going to be pretty sweet. But I think it's Captain Hook, Jafar, and Maleficent are going to be the first ones.
Those are good ones.
So those are coming to Fortnite. The other thing, so people don't sleep on this. August 30th. So at the end of this month, Star Wars Outlaws comes out.
Oh shit. That's kind of
which I'm told there's been some early reviews of it. People got like the first 4 hours or something with it. And it's ranged from someone saying this is like Red Dead Redemption, but Star Wars.
What? Right? Really?
To like, this is really good. Like they said there's some things that they need to kind of iron out, like from between like last week and the 30th.
Interesting.
It's not like they said like the stealth is really good. The combat is because it's just blasters. It's just like, but
yeah,
like one of the things that is awesome is there is a way to take components from different games and make them your own.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the you'll enjoy is there's an active reload system, much like Gears of War.
Oh, I do like
where
that.
You can actually do like a quick reload, or you can upgrade guns. So it's very deep. One thing I was worried about. It's made by Ubisoft, who does the Assassin's Creed games, who often will tell you that their games are open world and then lock a bunch of the map and you have to like unlock the map. This is like full go, multiple planets. You have a speeder bike that you can upgrade to like your liking.
Man, I'm going to have to get this because I'll tell you what, the last couple of games that I played from Star Wars, even the ones that got reviewed really well, like maybe because I was bad at them was part of it, but I was like, I didn't find them as fun as like most people did.
Fallen Order was pretty fucking fun.
Yeah,
I will say that. But like Fallen Order and then Jedi Survivor were really good.
Yeah.
Anytime you can go to Dathomir, you're in.
So I did enjoy that, but I was like, I thought it was hard. I'm like, man, maybe it is
hard.
Now that was really tough. But yeah, that's
But some of the stances were way harder to use. I figured out
okay.
the good balance. As much as I wanted to go blaster and lightsaber, it wasn't really that good.
Hmm.
The two-handed, like the Kylo Ren one, and the two, like Ahsoka, that was the way to go.
I think I had like
Not that,
I had the Darth Maul one.
and you probably had like the double-sided one too. Like
Yes. Yeah.
Now you go the two separate and the big one. Like that was the best combination.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing we have for the video game minute too. So you and I have almost finished our Ike.
Fucking Ike, dude, like just disappeared. I
just want to play my bowl game.
I wanted a wellness check on him. I even told Katie, I'm like, can you message his wife and be like, tell her to tell him to play the fucking game?
Right, because I was away for a week and still played more games than he did.
Yeah, but correct. But then he said because he lost recently, he was like, I almost ended. He's like, I couldn't move on. I'm like, dude, but just tell us that you're not going to play for me. Because I keep checking. I keep going on to check.
I keep checking too.
And I got a Mountain West title game to play, and then let's see what happens let's see what the luck of the draw is.
I did not make the playoffs.
I got a Heisman Trophy to win, for Christ's sake.
By the way, the Big Ten is
the
man.
Yeah, you made a mistake. You shouldn't have.
I made a mistake in the Big Ten. I am getting absolutely pumped by anyone who's ranked. But
I think half your schedule is ranked. I didn't play a single ranked team all year. I'm out there playing fucking Boise State, New Mexico.
I'm Penn State, Michigan. I'm just getting absolutely pumped. Anyway, but I made it to the Music City Bowl, so I'm playing Florida.
Ooh, big game. You get a nice bowl win. That helps the recruiting. That helps the coach.
Helps the recruiting. I'm 3-star recruits, no problem for Minnesota. But I need a dude. I need some dudes.
Dude,
here.
That's what driving me nuts. I had two 5-stars like on the hook. Like I was like their number one guy.
Number one.
Last fucking day, I was like, oh, committed to Colorado, committed to where I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah. I lost out on Nebraska beat me out for my 5-star quarterback.
I'm like, dude, come to Laramie.
Good luck.
Everything's happening in Laramie.
So I bring that up only that Madden actually comes out this week, and I'm not ever going to play it. But I hope it does well.
It's funny though, playing college football, the thing pops up. It's like, do you want 10% off Madden? I'm like, no,
I do not.
I want to keep playing this game. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no ads for me. Thank you. But yeah, so the other game that I'm actually D23, they kind of talked about Marvel Rivals, which is like their Overwatch.
All right.
Which hopefully, it looks cool. It's third person, which I like.
Yeah.
And I feel like you need to be able to see the characters.
Yeah.
I feel like Overwatch would have been if you could see the skin you were playing in more.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. Yeah, because you had no clue.
Yeah, and
I'd see Moira's hands.
Yeah, right. I hope they get really weird with the roster. You have such a deep pool. I get it. You need to have like your standard. You need Cyclops. You need Iron Man. You need Hulk. You need like all these. But I hope they go real fucking weird with it.
Deep. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just as weird as you can, and to the point where people are like, "That's not real. They made this up for this game." I'm like, no, that's a real character.
That's a guy or a gal. Yeah. Check them out.
Yeah, that's Sleepwalker. I've seen that.
That's the whole cast of Alpha Flight. So get on board. Have some.
Yeah.
How about this guy? Go ahead. I got a email of the episode.
Let's go.
Comes in from Coach Wessie B, formerly of the Boxers podcast. He emailed us, dorkpodcast@gmail.com. He said, hello, Dork Fathers. Was recently watching Umbrella Academy because I forgot it existed, and a new season is coming up, and I feel pot committed. I'm not about to suggest that anyone else should watch it or even argue that it's a good show. However, I love the character 5. The kid who plays him is just amazing and nails the comedy and coolness of the character. Was just wondering if there was ever a situation for either of you where you committed to a mid-show just because you loved one character so much you couldn't not watch. And then he says, Opie on Sons of Anarchy was another one who comes to mind. Happy football season, Coach WB.
Yeah, I mean, there are some, I think, early on, with Game of Thrones, and it wound up being like a good show anyway. But
amazing show.
Tyrion Lannister was a character that I hooked onto quickly.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. That's definitely happened to me because like if I start a show, it's because either it's like a topic that I'm really interested in, an actor or actress I'm really interested in, or somebody who I trust recommended it. Right. So it's like one of those three reasons. So I don't just like watch like a random show that often. So it's usually one of those three things, and I'll start it. And then once I'm a couple episodes in, I kind of keep rolling. So there's plenty of shows. Like I watched the 90210 reboot, the fucking reboot on CW all the way through, and there was a couple of characters I really liked, and that was part of it. I watched that show Grimm.
Yeah, right.
I watched every episode of Grimm, and part of that was there was a couple characters that were pretty good on that show. Like, and I'm also, you know me, I'm curious like a cat. That's why you guys call me Whiskers.
Absolutely.
But sometimes even if it's not a great show, I'm like, how are they going to end this? Like they've at least gone far enough down the road where I'm very intrigued, and I'm like, I can't tell anybody else it's a good show, but I've gone too far down the road that I need to know how it ends.
So there's a couple of characters that spring to mind. I had to do like a quick, just like refresher. So two characters that kind of come to mind for me. One of them is Eric Cartman in South Park.
That's a great show.
Like, it's a great show, but like I feel as though that when it loses steam, at least that character is still really good.
Well, and Randy
Marsh too. Like, but Randy's not in it enough. You
well,
know,
there's
and the
a
other
couple
one
se's where he was the guy.
Oh God, yeah. And those to me,
the
Little League one, and the one where he's wheeling his nuts around in the wheelbarrow.
Yeah,
that's a good one too. And the other one, I would say a show that like for the last like 4 seasons of it, like really wasn't any good, but like Modern Family, Hugh Dunphy.
Oh yeah,
but
that's recognized as like a good show though. Like,
it's a good show, but it wasn't as good. But like he was still funny.
Yeah,
you know, it's like the Doofy Dad.
Maybe you just watched Alf because of Alf.
Oh my God, am I on Mac and Goo right now?
No, dude,
talking Alf. We talking Alf?
It's not just Mac and Goo, dude. You remember in high school I had an Alf poster in our room. I love Alf.
Yeah, you know who else I love too? Speaking of like puppets, you know who I laugh at all the time? Pepe the Prawn.
Dude, Pepe the Prawn's pretty great.
He might be sneaky one of my favorite Muppets. He's hilarious.
Cece cracks up. She watches the one it's on Disney Plus where he's with a little girl and it's like, you want to sing that song Mary had a, and she's like, sure, and he's like, Mary had a little ham, and she fucking Cece thinks that's high comedy, which it is.
When he kept calling Scooter Scooper,
so good.
I did
Scooper. You know what's not a bad watch because we're sneaking up on Dorktober is the Muppets Haunted Mansion, which is fantastic. We watched it the other day just for shits. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
The one with Will Arnett and Pepe and Gonzo. Yeah, it was great.
Part of it. Yeah, it's good. It's
a lot of great cameos in that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another one. Joe Bluth in Arrested Development.
Yeah, but that's a good show too. You're picking good.
No, the last 2 seasons of that were not very good.
No, the Netflix one is unwatchable.
But he's good.
Yeah.
Good
question though, Wes, and anybody else you guys have questions, you can hit us up, dorkpodcast@gmail.com. All right, let's save pick of the pod for the next episode, which if you are watching on YouTube currently, we're just going to jump over to the other link. And for everybody else, it'll be available the next day via the podcast, or maybe you waited a day and now they're both available. So just jump on over there. Tell a friend, tell a dork about the podcast. You can get it on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever, or you can always watch it on YouTube as well. Davey, promise me a million times over you'll never do another rule.
Yeah, man, no, I'm not going to promise you that.